Hey everyone, Dennis Maynard here with Aria Properties and HomeRentalsLA.com. If you're out there right now house hunting in Los Angeles, whether it's a single family home in Venice or something multifamily in the Valley, or you're looking at a property on the West Side, you've probably come across listings that mention an existing ADU, a bonus room, or maybe a converted garage. And the question that always comes up is this. Is that unit basically grandfathered in when you buy the property, or are you walking into a situation that's going to cost you a fortune in permits and fixes down the line? Today I'm going to give you the straight talk on what really happens with these existing accessory dwelling units under the 2026 rules. We'll cover the legal side, the practical realities that buyers and sellers need to know, and why these situations can be a great opportunity if you handle them right. But they do require some careful planning. First, let's start with the positive side of the law because there has been some real progress here. Thanks to updates like AB 2533, if there's an unpermitted ADU or junior ADU on the property that was built before January 1st of 2020, you actually have a much clearer path to getting it legalized. The city, through LADBS, can't just shut you down automatically because it was built without permits originally. In fact, they focus on the health and safety checklist based on the California Health and Safety Code. In most cases, you're not facing automatic penalties or massive fines just for the fact that it was unpermitted in the past. And on the zoning side, those older non-conforming issues like setbacks often don't have to be completely redone unless they're creating a genuine safety problem. Now, if the ADU was fully permitted and built legally to begin with, it usually transfers over with the property without major drama. You can continue using it, including renting it out, though you will always want to check with any rent stabilization rules that might apply to the main house, especially on older properties. But here's what I want to give you the reality check that a lot of buyers don't fully hear until they're already in escrow. Even with these buyer-friendly protections on the books, bringing an existing unpermitted or older ADU up to full compliance can still involve some real construction work. And yes, the cost can add up faster than people expect. At the same time, just deciding to tear the whole thing down and revert it back to a garage isn't necessarily the easy or cheap way out either. Let me walk you through what it often looks like in practice, especially with those common garage conversions or backyard builds that we see all over LA. A lot of these older units were put together without the kind of standards we require for a living space today. So when you go through the legalization process, inspectors are going to look closely at things like foundation. Many older garage slabs simply weren't built with the proper vapor barrier underneath, which is important for keeping moisture and potential mold issues out of the living space. Verifying or fixing that after the fact can mean some real invasive work. Then there's the structural side. Los Angeles is earthquake country, so they pay close attention to whether there are adequate shear wall panels, proper bracing, tie downs, hold downs, and if the overall support in the walls, the roof, and the floors. Older conversions often fall short here, and bringing them up to current seismic standards can require real engineering and reinforcement. You'll also commonly run into electrical and plumbing items that need attention. Things like outdated wiring, panels that are too small, missing safety features like GFCI outlets, or plumbing setups that don't have the right venting and sanitation to meet code today. Fire safety is another big one, including proper egress windows and doors that are the right size and easy to open in an emergency, plus fire-rated separations if the unit is attached or shared walls. Ventilation, insulation to meet energy codes, weather protection on roof and siding, ceiling heights, overall room dimensions, they all come into play as well. If the ADU was a garage conversion without any of the required upgrades, the cost to repair and bring it into compliance right now could easily exceed $100,000, depending on the extent of work needed. In general, addressing structural work, foundations, fire safety, or bringing up the mechanical systems up to par can easily run you anywhere from $10,000 to $50,000 or more in moderate cases, depending on how extensive the issues turn out to be. Electrical and plumbing corrections alone can add several $1,000s each, I would say $10,000 sometimes, on anything involving shear walls or foundation work that pushes it higher when you factor into permits and inspections. And before you think about tearing it all down, because it sounds simpler, keep in mind that demolition and rebuilding a proper garage to current code also carries significant cost, including demo work, new construction for the garage doors and the structure, and potentially redoing the electrical or the foundation elements. Plus, you're losing out on that extra living space or rental income that legalized ADU can provide, which in today's LA market can easily bring $2,000 to $4,000 a month or more, depending on the size and the location. So both paths have real dollars attached, which is why due diligence upfront makes all the difference. Now, as a buyer, the key to getting on top of this during the inspection and the escrow period, pull whatever permit history is available early on and bring in a contractor or an ADU specialist who really knows the LADBS process for a targeted pre-purchase review. Build some buffer into your budget for potential compliance work because surprises do happen. But also look at the upside. Once everything is legalized and signed off on, that unit becomes a real asset that adds both income potential and value to the property. For sellers, being upfront about any existing ADU and any known issues can actually help the deal move forward smoother and support your pricing. Sometimes getting a head start on the legalization steps before listing can make the property stand out, even in a competitive market. Now, I'm going to add something else here. If you are a seller and you get cited by the city, the Los Angeles DBS, you're going to impact the buyer's ability to get a loan and impact your ability to sell the property. And you need to be aware of this. So getting ahead of it is extremely important. Plus, if you get cited, you're paying relocation costs for any tenant that is already in the unit. So this is really important that you get on top of it. At the end of the day, an existing ADU in Los Angeles is very often a feature worth pursuing rather than a deal breaker, especially with the current rules making legalization more accessible. But you have to go in with eyes wide open. You have to treat it like any other major system in the home. Get the right professionals involved and plan accordingly so that it becomes a strength instead of a headache. Now look, if you're actively looking at properties that have or could have an ADU, or if you're dealing with one of these situations on a place that you own right now or are in construction, reach out to me directly. I can help you review the details for your specific deal and connect you with trusted inspectors and contractors who know the LA process inside and out, and run the numbers so you know exactly what you're getting into. My email is dennis@dennismaynard.com. Let's make sure that your next move on this market is a smart one that sets you up for success in the long term. Thanks so much for watching, and if you found this helpful, give it a like. Subscribe if you would like more LA real estate insights, and drop your biggest questions about ADUs or buying in the comments. I read every single one, and I'll catch you on the next video.